A strange message from the stars? A possible discovery with weak evidence? Elements with creative writing. In January 1974, a young Scottish scientist, writer, and part-time astronomer named Duncan A. Lunan, then 27 years old, published an article titled Space Explorer from Epsilon Bootis. It concerned a mystery surrounding long-duration radio echoes, or LDEs, first reported in the 1920s. They were mysterious vibrations of a voice of transmitters that were too powerful to be simple reflections from Earth. Experts studying around the world found that their outgoing pulses returned with a 3-second delay, as if they were being amplified and returned by something in the distance of the moon, but clearly not by the moon itself. These delay times began to vary from 3 to more seconds in increasingly complex sequences, but without any change in intensity, which indicates that a single source was amplifying and returning the pulses. Stanford professor Ron Bracewell suggested in 1960 that these echoes could be retransmitted by an unmanned spacecraft from another civilization. Could it be a craft trying to get our attention? However, it seemed that Duncan had made a theoretically incredible discovery as he achieved a translation of the patterns of these echoes. The variations in delay times initially appeared to be random, but Professor Bracewell himself has suggested that if there was indeed a probe, the first part of the signal it sent might be about its sender, and that the signals might constitute a star map. After arranging the delay times in chronological order, Duncan found what did indeed look like a star map. When he showed it to astronomers, they recognized it as a distorted image of Epsilon Bootis in the constellation Bootis. Interestingly, Arcturus, the brightest star in the constellation, seemed to be absent from the map. But on further inspection, encouraged by various evidence, albeit weak, Duncan made a leap of thought that it was in another position slightly more distant, approximately the position it occupied 13,000 years ago. He concluded, therefore, that this map he had made could be about 13,000 years old. And that's why Lunan had a theory. That was the moment the probe arrived on Earth. Furthermore, he hypothesized the existence of an intelligent race that sent the probe, because their sun has now become a hot ball of fire called an orange giant. He concluded that they had predicted it, so the intelligent race 13,000 years ago was not just looking for contact with other creatures, but was actively looking for a new planetary home in a more favorable environment. Nowadays, there's the assertion that this message may have come from the so-called Black Knight satellite that, according to neo-mythologist or conspiracy theorists, is said to be around the same age of 12 to 13,000 years. Isn't that strange that that's around the time of the Younger Dryas period, the comet impact on Earth? However, for reasons of political correctness, we should point out that the existence of the Black Knight satellite has never been officially confirmed as real, and consequently is considered non-existent. For the same reason, we should note, as Time reports, that Duncan Lunan's possible discoveries were met with great skepticism and suspicion, as well as great hostility from the academic community. Scientists approaching Lunan's scenario with distrust. British radio astronomer Sir Martin Ryle says, Lunan gave no evidence, only beliefs. MIT physicist Philip Morrison, who believes in the possibility of extraterrestrial life, adds, the chances are 9 out of 10 that the whole story is a hoax. Astronomer Bracewell himself doubts that the echoes were intentional and suspects that they were caused by a natural phenomenon that has not yet been discovered in the atmosphere. Fantastic or not, Lunan's theory was not distinguished by any solid or scientific evidence. This suffocating pressure led Duncan to withdraw the work and research that he did after his outcry. It remains, therefore, for each of us to let our imagination run wild and ask ourselves about a hypothetical fantasy scenario. What if the young Scot really managed to decipher the first message ever sent by an extraterrestrial civilization? And if there really was a message that showed the constellation of Bootis, did Duncan Lunan translate something else as a continuation of it, but withdrew or never submitted it and kept it for himself? Please leave your comments about this. Thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.